You'll forgive me if I'm both less lyrical and more brief today. The subject is so simple that it requires neither a great deal of time nor of craft, which is just as well, as some say I lack an abundance of either. That being said, this is the first installment of a three-part series where I'm going to turn my iconoclasm in a different direction. Today we're talking about the nature of change in Disney parks. I think my take on it might surprise some of you. Believe it or not, Part 2 will be a defense of IP, and Part 3 will be a defense of corporate profit. Madness, I know. I've been accused both of being a Disney apologist and of being unnecessarily critical of Disney. Personally, I think my takes are fair and realistic, though they may be a bit nuanced for those accustomed to more binary opinions. Unless, of course, you're talking about Disney management itself, in which case it's all bad news all the time. I've been told that nothing will make me happy. Nonsense. I was perfectly happy with Disney. With a few notable exceptions, the Disney parks were fine. They needed maintenance, and they needed to be kept technologically up to date, but everything worked well, and the parks were attracting crowds that set records year after year. It was the suits in Burbank who decided the whole enterprise was broken and needed to be fixed. But indulge me, if you would, in a little mental experiment. Let us imagine the parks as an object of affection. Let us call her Ms. Park. And further, let us say that I, being all Disney fans vicariously, say to Ms. Park, I love you just the way you are. You never need to change unless you want to change, in which case I support you unconditionally. But please, remember to take care of yourself. I want you around for a long, long time. Now, let us imagine another suitor. We'll call him Bob. And he says, You're okay, I guess, but you've got to change everything about yourself to earn my love. And by the way, the list of things that needs to change never ends. And I'll never not find fault with you. Now give me all your money. You see, it's not change itself that's the problem. Change is inevitable. It is the manner and reason for change that matters. Change has to happen. The passage of time guarantees it. Change happens whether we want it to happen or not. The question is whether such change is organic and necessary, like exercise and eating a healthy diet, or a forced, useless waste of time, like radical plastic surgery to make yourself more attractive to someone who will never love you for who you are. We're all supposed to be grown-ups here, right? Or at least close to it. As grown-ups, at some point, we have to be okay with change. Say it with me. Change is good. Even change for the sake of change can be okay. Newness has a charm all its own. And it's a valid goal as long as it's done well. Obviously, there exists a subset of fans who are opposed to any change of any kind to any degree at Disney, but the majority of us, even those of us who complain about it, are okay with the concept of change as long as it makes Disney better. It's the motivations and executions that so often let us down. I promise you, we don't need Disney to be the same forever and ever just to make us comfortable in our neuroses. But here's the thing. If it can't stay the same, it must get better. Anything else is a waste of time. Not just as good, not almost, not it could have been great. Better. No sane person looks at their kitchen and thinks, this is old. I'm going to replace it with an exact copy and just change the colors. Maybe I'll replace all my appliances with ugly broken ones. Disney, however, seems not to be displaying the hallmarks of good mental health. At least not in the C-suite. To put it in financial terms, if you take something that already exists and you replace it with something that isn't better, you might as well be setting the money on fire. Do you get it now, Bob? Can anyone honestly say that the current iteration of Country Bears is an improvement? No? I see you with your hand up back there. Put it down. You have terrible taste. A natural organic change to Country Bears would have been updating the animatronics, not changing their names and completely replacing an original show with movie IP, although Wendell and Teddy duetting A Whole New World is kind of cute. Guardians of the Galaxy versus Universe of Energy? It's a great coaster, but people stopped talking about it in like 6 months. Snow White versus Princess Fairy Tale Hall? Come on. How about, he said, being a dead horse, alligator, whatever, Tiana versus Splash? As for the upcoming Cars Land versus Tom Sawyer Island, I see absolutely no potential that it will make Magic Kingdom a better place to be, no matter how popular the ride itself. Contrast that, heck, contrast all of them, to the most recent addition to Magic Kingdom, Tron. Yes, I know that Tron came before Tiana, but notice I said addition, not replacement. And that's the point. Tron, for any faults it might have, is new. It adds to the park. It adds a ride. It adds capacity. It made the park physically larger. Even if it were terrible, which it isn't, it would improve Magic Kingdom simply by existing. It doesn't have the burden of needing to be better than anything else because it didn't push anything out. It didn't replace anything, and certainly nothing to which there was any emotional connection. Unless you really, really like snakes and turtles. It actually made the railroad a little more fun, honestly. But let me give you a potentially positive example just to prove I'm capable of doing so. In fact, let me give you an example that's the diametric opposite of Tom Sawyer Island versus Cars Land. Monsters Inc. Land versus Muppets Land in Disney's Hollywood Studios. The only attraction in Muppets Land for the last many years has been Muppet Vision. Muppet Vision was a 3D film that also employed practical effects, animatronics, scent machines, bubbles, and one live actor in the person of Sweetums. I must confess that 3D movies are never particularly convincing to me, but the show is funny, sincere, and nostalgic. I was sad to see Muppet Vision 3D go. I grew up on Muppets. I love Muppets. They should find a way to preserve Muppets. Maybe offer the show to Sesame Place or another park that licenses Jim Henson properties. Muppet Land, however, was never a big draw for Hollywood studios. I'm sorry, but it just wasn't. Muppet Vision was often half empty until Disney announced that they were shutting it down, and it was never a big enough draw to justify investment in the rest of the land. Monsters Inc. Land, however, has incredible potential to be something better. Not just different, not just new, but better. It's the first opportunity for a better and newer ride/land replacement since, gosh, I'm not even sure. Storybook Circus, maybe? To be fair, that one was controversial too, but the bottom line is Disney is finally giving fans something that they've specifically asked for, and I think it's going to be a monstrous hit. That excites me, and it ought to excite every Disney fan. Monsters Inc. Land, along with the promised new family coaster, can be a creative change done right, not clumsy change simply done for the heck of it. Let us hope Imagineering is both actually listening and understanding what they're hearing this time. So, mini rant over, I guess. I just wanted to get that out there. We aren't opposed to change, even when it takes something we love, as long as it makes it better. I'll say it again. We do this because we love Disney, not because we hate it. Disney, if your ambitions for any project can't rise above just as good, then do us all a favor, your investors included, and just leave it alone. So, pals, if you've endured my lunatic ravings thus far, let me impose upon you once more for your subscription. Your click of the all notifications icon and a thumbs up if it's not too much trouble. Or down, I'm not picky. And if you want to tell me how wrong I am or just copy-paste the mantra change is good, do it in the comments below. Believe it or not, it helps the channel. Just keep it rational on topic, please. I said please. Come on. Give me a break.